So we got our first taste of training camp and actual football.
We
But
have. We
we we
have.
we got our appetizer, but now it starts the main course. They're actually practicing in pads. Oh, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of stuff we'll probably talk about tonight occurred in shorts. But still, a couple things I think that's fun to talk and cover about. But yeah, pads are coming on, and not only the pads coming in, but now you got a new guy, Quan Alexander, coming in. So that's what you got to love about preseason. It's like we thought we had everything figured out. I know you and I talked about a week or two ago. We didn't know if anybody else was coming in. Boom, here comes Quan Alexander, and Holcomb already seemed a little pissed about it.
Uh-huh. He
You
sure
know,
does. He sure
yeah,
does.
yep,
Here's the only thing I could figure, because as you said, they're just in shorts. What are you going to be able to determine from someone just in shorts? Well, you can determine something. You can determine if somebody's covering someone. And I think this whole bringing in Quan Alexander is basically just a major assessment of Mark Robinson. They took one look at him and said, "Oh, you haven't changed. You haven't learned that you need to at least try to cover people. So that's it, buddy. You're done. You hope
yeah.
it. Mark Robinson better hope he catches on as a special teams guy or something like that, because he might
Yeah,
be done as an inside linebacker.
he might be, but you've said this 100 times, and you're right 100 times. I mean, they need that depth. I don't know if they'll necessarily axe him, but this is a play. This is a move. Obviously, they need a player that can confidently cover in the sub packages, and I think that's what it's about. You hit the nail on the head. And Quan Alexander brings some confidence there, so Holcomb can get a break. He can get in there. Although, like I said, Holcomb seemed a little pissy the other day when he's talked about that after the one practice, and he wasn't mad, but he seemed a little, he goes, I'll be out there trying to play every game. And we weren't sure if we were even going to see him in shorts. We thought maybe pads, but he whatever he did with that injury, he obviously got cleared. He's obviously out there. He's looked pretty good so far.
Mhm.
So he's checked all the boxes to this point. But yeah, I mean, here comes a little drama. And Tomlin, he's never going to let play his cards or show his cards, hold cards, whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy. But yeah, I think Quan Alexander will be here to stay, and I think you're right. I think they must have saw something in Robinson, who also hasn't been bad, but there were a couple slot receivers he let go. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I think that's exactly what happened. I think
yeah,
they said, "Oh, nothing's changed. Okay, fine. We'll get this guy." I'm loving it. I love. I mean, first of all, yeah, Cole Holcomb wants to play all the time. He wants to play every down, bro. You could get hurt. We need the depth.
yeah. You need the depth. You're exactly right. And I guess honestly, a spot was cleared because the mullet was cut the other day. The only fullback we had on the roster. Poor kid comes out of Iowa, Monty the mullet, and Steeler Nation obviously already loves the guy. I guarantee you there's a Yinzer or two that already bought his jersey. And now
Probably.
they're like, shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's gone. No telling why. And I guess just as older fans, you think back to what it used to be with Tim Lester and Dan Kreider, but now Steelers less than 10% of their plays last year had a fullback in there. They didn't bring Derek Watt back. I mean, yeah,
Well, does this mean that Derek Watt is coming back?
maybe. Who knows? But I definitely think they're keeping all three inside linebackers. Like you said, it's a long season, Joe. When they added the extra week, it's a long season. Their bye weeks early this year. We talked about that a couple months ago when we talked about their schedule being released. Their bye weeks early. So again, it's a long season. They're going to need them.
By the way, I just saw something today that the toward the end of the season, when the Steelers play the Ravens, that's almost a guaranteed win for the Ravens. And that's because they'll have played almost, for some scheduling reason, they'll have played like one game in 3 weeks or
Yeah.
some goofy thing like that. And meanwhile, the Steelers will have been playing every single week. So that's almost like, a team on full rest against a team that's going to be tired as heck. That's a
Yeah,
guaranteed win, just about. So
it could be. Yeah.
I don't-
So yeah, so that's where I think you think of that season. I think that comes into play when they're looking at Quan Alexander. Is like, okay, need a little depth there. He's available. Is he going to be the defensive MVP of the league? No, but he's a solid ad and probably fills a void that I guess they thought Mark Robinson wasn't doing well.
see. I just want I want them to rotate them so they could stay fresh if they're
Yeah.
healthy. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm loving this move.
Just interesting that they brought it in that quick. Like they made it like 3 or 4 days. Like, oh, we're gonna bring in this guy. Like we're not
Okay.
talking about like after one preseason game or
Right.
It's like no,
Immediately.
So
It's like Tomlin had Quan Alexander's like number, just like just holding the phone the whole time. Like now, hold. Okay, I'm doing it.
yeah. Yeah, which we talked a little bit about this too. One of the plays that Robinson got burned on, Calvin Austin has looked fairly good. We got to see him for 3 plays last year until he tore his knee out. So he's looked good out of the slot. So that's another thing. Again, shoulders and shorts, I know, or shirts and shorts, but he's looked pretty good so far, impressed some people. So yeah, there's been a lot of things in just 1 week here, a little less than a week, that's been pretty impressive.
It's gonna be interesting. That's one of the players you got to watch when it's when the pads come on. It's like, okay, let's see what you could really do, Calvin Austin, because
Right.
if it works, then the Steelers will have their own Tyreek Hill. But so many teams have tried to have their own Tyreek Hill and it hasn't worked. So we'll see.
Yeah. So is he going to get the reps? And we'll have to see. You and I both attended 1 day of practice so far. I'm going again next week. Anything stick out to you at any of those practices you thought were okay? We're a little better off.
I tell you what, I don't know if it's just one of them had a good day and one of them had a bad day, but from what I saw from Kenny Pickett, he looked awesome. He looked poised. He looked relaxed. He looked like just in charge, and like everything was working. And Mason Rudolph looked like that was the first time he ever set foot on a football field. Like, I don't know what happened. Did he have a bad night in the dorm or something? I don't know. But I loved what I saw from Kenny Pickett. He just looked so good out there, and that just gives me a lot of hope. I'm just loving. Just there was another thing today. This Mike Sando put out a report of like quarterback tiers, and I think he had Kenny Pickett like 23rd or something like that. Like, come on, dude. Okay, cool.
A lot of guys have him. And
yeah.
Look, again, he didn't tear off the NFL last year, so I get it. I think a lot of us feel that we've seen him more. Probably, again, close proximity. We got to see him play at Pitt for those number of years. We know what he's capable of. But I thought the same thing, Joe. I wrote that down. I mean, I felt he's been more confident. Hey, we're not winning the Super Bowl MVP. Relax, I'm not going over the moon yet. But, he looked good on the 7-on-7s. And when they put him in the red zone offense the day I was there, he went 3 for 4, 3 touchdown passes to 2 different receivers. Looked pretty good there. And then if you look at last year versus this year, and I realize he didn't get as many attempts, but last year at this point, his completion percentage was 50. He 2.1 per average and a 4.2 yards per catch. As of right now, after 1 week, it's 58.7, 6.6 yards per average, and 11.4 yards after the catch. So,
nice.
And again, it's learning a system. I know it's Matt Canada's system, so it's like preschool. Or maybe it's better. I don't know, but it's better. He looks better. The pot he ran for a touchdown. I think that was pretty well publicized. That was the practice that he looked good in. So I agree, he's looked good.
And it seems like he's going out of his way to hit George Pickens, and that's
good.
That's great. Great news.
Yeah. Although the Mason Rudolph thing I thought was funny, the 2 really nice passes he had were to Hakeem Butler, who absolutely. Did you see him at practice? First of all, I know he's at 6'6", but he looks like the Undertaker out there.
Oh, really?
He's wearing number 21. But he looked pretty good. Now, granted, it was against Luke Baraku, and Madre Harper, who most likely will be one of those guys picking up the Bentleys we were talking about earlier before the podcast. But again, he looked good. It was Rudolph throwing to him, but I'd be curious. I hope they are, and I'm sure they're going to work Hakeem Butler in on some of the first team snaps. I think that's going to be fun.
Hakeem Butler has a lot to prove.
A big time.
He basically this summer is his job interview.
Yeah.
This is his resume. It's like, okay, you do well, you make the team. You don't make the team. It's that simple.
Right. We're not the Seattle Battlehawks or whoever he was
right.
with in the XFL.
Right.
I don't know if I said that right.
This ain't the XFL, buddy.
Right. I apologize to the 23 Battlehawk fans that are out there, but yeah, no, I mean, it was funny because right after that session, it was media and Tomlin had to tell the press, calm down a little bit. It was just, I mean, because he's a guy, you're right. He's that guy though. He's that big dude that just came out of nowhere. And it's like, wow. And we love the guys that do that in Pittsburgh. Give us the XFL guy, give us that Division III guy like Joe Green, coming out of, what was it, East Texas or, whatever it was. And that's who we like. And yeah, I mean, he'd be a great story, but you're right. He's got a lot to prove in a short amount of time.
Wasn't there a Tommy Maddox serial?
I think there was. So he went to UCLA, to the Broncos, and then to
the XFL.
Yeah.
And he was like the XFL MVP, and the Steelers took a chance on him, and he became the starter.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, poor Tommy Maddox had to, he was John Elway's backup during the years Elway was, winning Super Bowls, and basically could have ran for, mayor of, or governor of Colorado and won by a landslide. So didn't work out for him in Denver. And then, Tommy Gunn. And then, I mean, hey, he served us well for a little while there. NFL Comeback Player of the Year and
Tommy Gun Flakes.
Tommy Gun Flakes. Do you
right
have
here,
that
Tommy Gun Flakes.
Okay.
I do not have I have to get a box of Tommy Gun Flakes, and I love that it's the non-licensing thing. So it's just he has an 8 jersey, but just like generic black helmets.
Right.
It's like you can't get. But yeah, I want some Tommy Flakes to go with my. I have Jerome Bettis Crunch back there.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm ready for Kenny Pickett peanut butter or something.
What do you do with Pickett pickles?
Pickett pickles. The Mario bun is still my favorite. Let's see.
That was good. That was a very delicious candy bar.
They were great. I remember one year this guy had them for Halloween. He was like the hit of the neighborhood. Yeah. Mario buns were good, but
you know what? Somebody already did pickles. I remember Casperitis Crunch pickles.
Oh my God, I forgot about those.
Where the hell is my Yager peanut butter? I have Yager peanut butter, and like some of these things are like empty boxes, but that Yager peanut butter is still it's what, 30 years old now.
Still in there.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Pickett pickles or we'll oh my God, get like a Turner's tea of Pickett.
Something like that. If he has a big year this year, he's getting the food. I'm going to call that right now. By the time we do a podcast, like late winter, if he's on a roll, if he has a big year between December and January, there's going to be food.
How is that not a thing yet? How is that? How are we waited an entire year and nobody has a food product of him?
I don't know.
You have failed the strip district. We have lots of Kenny shirts in the strip district, but we have no food products. That's wow.
Step up, Pittsburgh.
We have failed as a city. When I'm sure this happened when you were there too, but whenever Kenny just when he first entered, the whole crowd, then we're talking thousands of people, the whole crowd goes wild, and he just walked onto the field. It was like, wow, this dude's a rock star.
Yeah, dude just came back from his honeymoon, got married just a few weeks ago, honeymoon, then came back for Stiller camp and ready to rock and roll. and right along there with Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph and the whole gang. So, but no, I thought he looked good. The offensive line, Joe, not bad either. Did Broderick Jones get to play when you were there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have him on the left side and they moved Dan Moore to the right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was kind of interesting. See how that goes.
I think that's the plan. I think the plan is to make Dan Moore like the main backup tackle in case anything happens to Broderick Jones or Chooks. And really, I mean, we talked about this before, but all Broderick Jones has to do is just not be horrible, just on the job training, and he's already getting a lot of good training and learning. And he's gonna get beat, but let him get beat like in training camp and preseason games so he could be ready for the season.
Yeah, and he did. He got beat by was it George Pareles, I think, or Fred Pareles, or I'm not sure where they got that kid, but it's gonna happen. But you're right, happen now. When they slow up before they hit the quarterback or whatever it is, they're wearing flags, the pink jersey, the green jersey, whatever it is that day. But yeah, what you don't want to see him do is week one get owned by that 49ers defense, which is just, absolutely stacked with Hargrave there and the adjustments they've made. So, yeah.
Yeah. And all I hear about Broderick Jones is he's just a massive human being.
He's the other guy. Between him and Hakeem Butler, they're the two noticeable guys out there.
Also noticeable with the size is Joey Porter Jr. and what's his name? Trice.
Yeah. I agree. Now, Trice is one of the guys who got burned by Hakeem Butler. He struggled a little bit. He has struggled there. And that was a guy that, I thought he was a kind of boomer bust. I mean, he was arguably at one point the best defensive back in the Big Ten at Purdue. But the injuries, can he bounce back from those injuries?
We'll see. I love that Joey Porter and George Pickens are just like going at it. Talk about the battle of alpha males.
Yeah.
Neither one of them is going to want to back down. It's like, okay, if we're fighting, so be it. But neither of them are backing down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they are not. It's competitive, and it's what makes this so much fun. And I don't know if, we talked about some of these incoming players. They start making these remarks like, this is incredible when they go to St. Vincent. We know it. And it's just kind of fun to watch these, multi-million-dollar guys that are coming in here to see it and also say, this is amazing. This is incredible. Holcomb's made a comment already like, wow, this is something else. He goes, these fans are absolutely rabid. And maybe that was a shot at Washington. I don't know. But, then again, you and I remember the days when the Redskins and the Steelers their camp used to be in Carlisle, PA. And remember, they would scrimmage the Steelers like every year. It used to be their Carolina Panthers. And then when the Redskins or Snyder moved them into Washington and didn't do that anymore, that was over. But I always remember them playing.
I remember that very well.
Yep.
And anytime you have on paper, it sounds like a good idea. Let's have our guys go against their guys. All it turns into is just a bunch of fights.
Yeah.
Every single time. It just turns into
and I think the next time we do this, we'll probably be talking about some of that, because I think next week when we get in the pads and the helmets, then you're going to start seeing some of that pushing and shoving. And these guys like Trice or some of these guys that are trying to make the team, Robinson now probably feels a lot of pressure, and Holcomb, they're going to start popping some people.
Yeah.
And Quan Alexander's a big hitter. He's that's one thing he's been known for. So I'm sure, and Tomlin has never shied away from that. He's always had guys in the pads. Hey, let's do it. So I think that's going to be very interesting in the next week to 10 days.
Yeah. It's the real evaluations will start, and it's going to be so much fun. I just read there's an article by Jerry Dulac where he was talking about remember the old Oklahoma drills that Chuck Noll would have?
Yep.
That was just pure like car crashes, just body collisions. Like, okay, you guys just run into each other. Maybe Chuck Noll was a physicist and he was trying to create a nuclear reaction by having two high-speed particles run into each other or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's funny you said that, because they announced the Hall of Honor, and one of the guys that stood out to me is Moon Mullins. and his first day as a rookie, he had to do an Oklahoma drill against Mean Joe Green. You and I
Tossed him like a rag doll.
Yes. Yeah. And Ray Mansfield, who's the other guy that got in. They both were victims of Joe Green. But,
Yeah.
Moon Mullins is that guy. I always think he was only 230 pounds at a guard, and why
Amazing.
Chuck Noll loved him is like he did do those drills. He always showed up. He could put him at center to relieve Webby. He could put him at left tackle, right tackle, guard, wherever. But, I'm glad to see Moon Mullins get in there. But 230-pound guards in his Oklahoma drills, and his first day he goes up against Joe Green and gets tossed like a rag doll.
Poor guy. My goodness.
Yep.
And they had in this article, they had Jack Lambert telling the story of how every year he would go against Mike Webster, and every year Webster would get the better of him because he would just hold the heck out of him. and he said, just one time, don't hold. Let's see what happens. And according to Lambert, Mike Webber's like, okay. And then and Lambert beat him easily. And Mike Webber's like, yeah, that never happens.
Right.
I love that. But that those Oklahoma drills were like, they were literally outlawed. They were outlawed a few years ago because it's just human violence.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting punished, you're getting hit. I mean, it was, it's just not that way today. But I mean, they'll go at it as close as they can in the coming weeks. So
go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, I speaking of Lambert, I love that this past week, since Kennywood opened the Raging Rapids again, they've been replaying the Lambert and Myron commercial.
What do they own the Thunderbolts?
So great, where he picks him up and takes him to the boat. I mean, it's just so great.
That's awesome.
Vintage Yinzer right there, the opening that back up. But
I don't have the Sports Illustrated cover, but I do. This is basically the picture, and this is like the greatest picture ever. I mean, this is literally like the epitome of the 70s Steelers right here.
Yeah,
love it.
Yep, without question.
Love it.
Yeah. So it was Moon Mullins and James Harrison, Aaron Smith getting in, and of course the late great Ray Mansfield. I worked with Ray's son, Jim, at Enterprise for a little while. A little bit too much history on me there, but Jim's just a great guy. And we did a Chuck Noll 5K down there many times. Jim's always there. He has never shied away from that. And I don't think he's ever come out and said it. And if he watches this, I don't mean to speak for you, but I feel like he feels like he's got to represent his dad. So they'll bring those four out. I believe it's the Jaguars game at home. That they'll honor those four guys. And I guarantee you, Jim's the guy walking out there. If you've ever seen Jim, he's a massive human. He is a human. Yeah, I can tell you some stories off the air about Jim. But he's as nice as could be, huge hands, big as his dad. So I'm glad that they recognize Ray Mansfield in that class too.
Just gone way too soon.
55 years old, I believe. When
my goodness. Such a shame. Yeah,
in the Grand Canyon hiking.
Oh man, yeah. That was so sad.
55, 60, somewhere in there. I apologize if I got the age wrong enough, but it was young.
Wow. Young. I was kind of surprised that James Harrison was added, not because obviously his accomplishments as a player were amazing, but he did not leave the team on the best of terms, and so obviously things have time has gone on and things have smoothed over. I'm glad that he could be welcomed back into, the Steeler fold, because that got ugly at the end there. Holy cow.
It did, and it begs the question, so I think the rule of getting into the Ring of Honor is you have to be retired as a player for 3 years. Well, and I think you had to play as little as 4 or maybe 5. But you think about that and you think about a guy like Le'Veon Bell, who left the team, on, I don't want to say better options, but it was, hey, we couldn't get a deal done, he's gone. Where Harrison leaves, goes to the frickin' Patriots, and like you're right, it wasn't pretty, it was ugly. So that begs the question is, a couple of years, is Le'Veon Bell going to get the call? Because I think in so many people going to kind of hate him after he left, they forget his stats for those 5 years are very, very good. As good as a lot of other Steeler running backs. And we just tend to be mad that he left. But he didn't leave in a dramatic fashion that James Harrison did. But
if you were to rank all of the Steelers running backs, obviously you had Franco, Jerome Bettis, John Henry Johnson. Other than that, I can't think of a better like Le'Veon Bell is number 4. He was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's kind of like with Harrison. It's like, okay, we're mad now. We're mad when it happened, but as time goes on, and Le'Veon Bell has apologized, so maybe that
In his
helps
own way.
too, in his own way. Yeah. I could see maybe 3-4 years from now, a total reconciliation, because it's still pretty. The wounds are still kind of fresh.
Which,
So
to your point, I mean, to me, the next guy that's probably getting in the Hall of Fame from the Steelers in that era is probably Harrison. I mean, Ben will get in before he does, but I feel Harrison will eventually get in. It might be, a couple of votes, but I think he's going to get in. I mean, playing Super Bowl 43 alone, plus, Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah,
He's definitely got a strong resume. So I think he's a strong candidate to get in the Hall of Fame. So it was only, to me, he's a shoo-in. But you're right. I mean, there was a lot of hurt feelings there, and you know how Harrison can be. He'll tell you like it is. God knows what he might even say if they give him the microphone. So, it's not as bad as AB, but it's still, you never know. But I think you're right.
That's the ultimate test. Will Antonio Brown ever be? I don't think so.
Not now, Joe. I mean, not until the dust settles. He's just, and sadly, I mean, yeah, this things got pretty weird here that last year. They got extra weird after he left. But during the time he's here, pound for pound, the best receiver in the NFL.
Total Hall of Fame. Like easy Hall of Fame if things didn't go south.
Right. But I mean, he's gone off the deep end more than once.
It would have to be. We're maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I mean, I don't care one way or the other, but I just hope he gets his life together, because I have a feeling it's not going to end well. I know,
and that's the thing. Like, look, okay, and I've put that meme up there, like, mark myself safe from the latest AB rant, which is a great one, But I mean, you do want it to work out well, and if there's any regret, it's like, God, I just can't believe we couldn't win with him something more than what we did. But yeah, you hope that turns out well. But like you said, I think if as long as he gets things straightened out, he stays healthy, and he stays the right path, I think it's 10 to 12 years where you see any kind of olive branch extended by the Steelers, and maybe even Canton.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody in Canton in good conscience could say, here you go, here's a mic, go up there and do your acceptance speech. And God knows what he would say. God knows who he would pick to induct him. I mean, he could pick, like, the security guard at Target. I mean, he could pick, maybe you should. It'd be comical. It sure would be fun to watch.
That would be one hell of a debate. Like, whenever he is eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Those arguments, oh boy. You think if you look at just the numbers, he's a shoo-in. But everything else. Ooh.
But then, like, to say that, but then you got Randy Moss in, and things like that. So you never know. I just think if you're AB, just fade away, brother, and be in good health, be in good conscience, and bide your time. And I think good things will happen.
Bro, pay your bills.
Yeah, I mean, your team got thrown out of the league. I mean, it just seems like every time his name's in the paper, there's nothing good following it. But to that point too, Joe, Aaron Smith, one guy I'll call out. He's a Pittsburgh guy, as far as I'm concerned. He's coaching in Pittsburgh. He coaches basketball, girls' high school basketball, I believe.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And he never got. I always say he's not underrated, but underappreciated. He played defensive end on a 3-4 defense, and he was spectacular. And a lot of those guys, Kiesel, Troy, a lot of them would say he's the keystone. He's the guy that was, that kept us going. He was the guy.
him and Casey Hampton
Yep.
ate up the entire offensive line so
Yes.
that Harrison and Joey Porter and all those linebackers could do their thing and be the stars. But it was Aaron Smith and Casey Hampton that just swallowed up all of those other 5 offensive linemen. Just those 2 guys just took on 5 people and knocked them out just so the linebackers could do their thing.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Then you had Larry Foote and those guys just cleaning house after
Right.
that. Yeah. You do. I mean, Aaron Smith was such a stellar player. He probably will never see Canton, but he's a guy that I feel could be there. But he probably never will. But he's just so underappreciated for what he could do. And
this is such a cool thing about this Ring of Honor or Hall of Honor, whatever they call it. This is the perfect thing for someone like an Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith will never make the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he'll make our Hall of Fame, and he will get that recognition, which is awesome. Absolutely, that's the beauty of it. I totally agree, and it almost, I wasn't going to go to that game, but it almost makes me want to go to that game because, of course, our history with Jacksonville in Pittsburgh has never been good. This is such a weird team. And they're playing tomorrow night, right? Because it's hard to believe this, guys. The NFL preseason kicks off. No, Thursday night. Oh, Thursday night is the Hall of Fame game. Oh, the Browns my goodness. And the Jags. And yeah, that'll be a snoozer. I love it. It's the Hall of Fame game is maybe the single worst exhibition of football ever, except maybe like when the XFL Battlehawks are playing the Saskatchewan Roughriders or whatever those teams are, or some of those USFL games were just horrible. It was like that old electronic football game where everybody just runs into each other. That's basically one of those games. That Hall of Fame game is horrible. It's yeah. I mean, they pump it up like it's a straight thing. It's just not. And I've seen, if anybody out there is gambling on the Hall of Fame game, seek help immediately. Go talk to your family, talk to anybody. If you're gambling on that game in any way, shape, or form, you've gone way over the edge. You're way over. Don't do it. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad indeed. But even when the Steelers playing it, it's difficult to kind of watch. And from what I understand, I know that one year that the turf was really bad and they canceled the game or something like that. But I'm guessing it's better now because I think that's where the USFL played a lot of their games or something like that. Yeah, I think the Pittsburgh Maulers played a few games there, if I'm not correct. I don't know. I'm going to admit I didn't really watch hardly any of it. So, and then pretty soon, when's the first Steelers preseason game? I think in a couple weeks. Yeah, like 2 weeks after that, I think. So it's like you said, it's fun because everything about, for us at least, we're Yinzers, we love the Steelers. It's shirts and shorts right now, but still there's a little bit of fun. There's obviously enough to talk about to do a type of show, whatever, podcast, anything you want to talk about. And then boom, we go into pads and helmets, and it's going to get a lot better each week till we get that first preseason game. That's it. We started with the OTAs, which was just silliness. Then we go to this first week in no pads. Then we go to practice and pads. Then we go to preseason games. And we only got 3 preseason games now. So it's, and really, yes, this is the team getting ready. The starters need to prepare and stuff like that. But the other aspect is there's like 50 guys fighting for their careers. Yeah, I mean, they really are. And that's what I've always loved about that, and I think any true football fan loves that story of somebody that was that 5th round or later, let's say. The guy that came from a Prairie View A&M or, Slippery Rock, and they make the roster, and it's just, it's fantastic. It's so much fun. That 4th preseason game back in the day when it was 4 preseason games, that 4th preseason game was all the guys in the bubble. Like, if you play well in this game, you stay in the NFL. If you don't, you're bagging groceries. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It is the best reality show. I've never seen Hard Knocks, but this is we're watching a reality show in front of our eyes. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, without question. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It's here. People are out there buying their fantasy football magazines, getting ready. So I'm just getting ready for the next inevitable disaster in the Men of Steel League, where I'll just, probably get that pink license plate again. But hey, I mean, it's why we watch.
Okay, so the loser gets
Yeah,
has a pink
whatever.
license.
Yeah, I suck at fantasy football.
There was at training camp, there was a gentleman in a pink outfit, with it was like a ballet outfit. He was wearing a tutu, and he wore a sign that said, and he was pushing a stroller, and the sign said, "My daddy sucks at fantasy football, and he has to wear this outfit."
I love it. I love it. Yep.
It's awesome. Yep. Awesome. I love stuff like that. I love, like the fantasy football leagues I do are just, it's like on Yahoo, and are just, I don't know any of those people. But when you know the people in your league, it makes it, and you like get together in person and draft and get together. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we this is our 17th year. It's a lot of my family, my dad's, and in fact, my dad won it the first year. And our trophy's named after my father's name is Woody. And we did a draft in the Canton Football Hall of Fame one year. We did it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I talked to this guy, and he's like, "Oh, we've never done that before, but sure, let's figure out a price." And we did it. Now everybody does it. So we were like,
that's cool.
We went through commish kit, and we were voted the #1 fantasy football league. They even gave us our stuff the next year free. So yeah, but
very cool.
It's the whole thing, Joe. It's like, I guess, when you love baseball and you're there and you either need to get the hot dog, the Cracker Jacks, the peanuts. It's the same thing here, man. It's training camp. It's at Latrobe. It's not downtown somewhere in a big building. It's at a small little college. And like you said, there's the battles, there's the unknowns, there's the big draft picks, and it just all culminates in just a matter of 5 to 6 weeks, and then boom, we're right into September. We're right in the NFL season.
When I was at the training camp, this guy saw me and said, "Excuse me, this is my first time here. Where do I get the autographs?" Oh, that is so sweet. Yeah, actually, you just go right there and they'll autograph your stuff.
You'll get something. Yep.
Yeah, it's an amazing atmosphere. It feels like, I know you were just in Iowa with Field of Dreams. It feels like the Field of Dreams of football, because all you have is this picturesque thing, not too much going on around, and then you have this football field and these thousands of people watching football.
Yeah. It's just, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. Absolutely.
All right, sir. Well, let's see how this goes. Let's see. Hope everybody stays healthy, and we'll see what happens.
So looking forward to it, Joe. Let's see what happens, and talk again in a few weeks.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.